Howdy, y'all. My name is Klug, and I love to fiddle and dance. Welcome to the 615 Hideaway show. We are live on Facebook, and I'm very excited to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me. We have a pretty good show put together. I'm going to talk about my fiddling and my dancing, and I'm going to play a bunch of songs for you guys, and kind of talk about how my fiddling and dancing came to be, and maybe talk about my CD and play some of the songs for you, and talk about some of my upcoming opportunities. I have some really cool projects in the works I'll tell you guys about. So, and we might have a little question and answer at the end if you guys have any questions. We'll see about answering some questions at the end, but we'll get started here, and thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this afternoon. I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. I'm going to Louisiana, my true love for to see. There ain't any rain that I'll have, the weather it was dry. The sun's so hot I froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. I soon will be in Orleans, and I'll look around, and when I find Susanna, I'll fall upon the ground. But if I do not find her, I know I'll surely die, and when I'm dead and buried, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. One question I frequently get asked sometimes is, when did I start dancing? So I want to talk about that a little bit. I actually have no idea when I started dancing. I've been dancing ever since I could remember. My earliest memories of dancing, I was on a dance team when I was a kid. I did tap and jazz and tumbling, and I love gymnastics. And when I was little, in my parents' bedroom, they had a closet with big mirrors for doors, and the sliding door mirrors, and 2 big mirrors, and I would dance in front of those mirrors all day long. I actually had a Britney Spears CD and Spice Girls, probably Backstreet Boys, and NSYNC too, yeah. And I would put those CDs in the CD player, and I'd hit play, and I would just get a little bit of the song, and I would choreograph a little dance, and get another bit of the song and choreograph a little dance, and I would do entire songs I would choreograph dances. I don't know why, for no reason. It's not like I was gonna do these dances on stage anywhere. It was fun. It was something I loved to do, and I just like to move, like to dance. So anyway, when I was a little bit older, maybe 8 or 9 years old, I was at a talent show, and I had a friend who did a clogging routine. And I thought that was really cool, and so I joined her clogging team and learned how to clog. And I was on the clogging team for 5 or 6 years. It wasn't until I was 18, I quit clogging after I took up the fiddle, but it wasn't until I was 18 that I developed buck dancing style. And I'm using these terms, clogging and buck dancing, assuming you guys know what that means. So just to explain a little bit, clogging is team dance you do in a group of people. You can clog solo, but it's usually done in a group of people, and it's choreographed. And it's showy in nature. It's for a show. A clogging move would be, a lot of people do this one. Whereas clogging, buck dancing is more of an individual dance, and it's improvised. And each buck dancer has their own unique dance. It's not like a formalized way of dancing. There's not like a standard set of moves. One buck dancer might dance one way, and then this other buck dancer will have like a whole completely different set of moves. And it's still considered to be the same dance. It's of the same tradition, and it's done to the same music. So it is rhythmic in nature. So as a buck dancer, I'm actually playing an instrument with my feet. Whereas clogging is also in time with the music, but it's not focused on the rhythm you create, because that's not really laying a rhythmic foundation for your song. So yeah, I developed my buck dancing style under the mentorship of a very amazing gentleman named Thomas Maupin. He's my dance mentor. He's won the national championship 6 times, and he has actually recently been recognized as the National Heritage Award recipient. He is recognized as like a national treasure, so it's very special. He's 80 years old, and I've never beat him in a dance contest, and I've competed against him a few times, but you'd think a youngster could beat an old man at a dance competition, but I tell you what, this guy is the master, and I hope when I'm his age, I hope I can dance like him. Anyway, under his mentorship, I actually won the National Buck Dancing Championship. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for tuning in and watching and hanging out with us at the 615 Hideaway. Thank you guys so much for having me here. And I want to talk about how I started playing fiddle and why. You know, a lot of people ask me, why the fiddle? You know, why not guitar or something? And I don't know the answer to that question either. Just kind of by accident, I started playing the fiddle. It's kind of funny. I didn't even know what a fiddle was. Nobody in my family plays music. Nobody in my family even dances. I didn't know what a fiddle was until I was 13 years old. And then I started playing, and just this whole world of like fiddle music opened up. I had no idea it existed. So I had this best friend. My best friend at the time started taking a violin class, and it's a group class, and she wanted me to come and take the class with her. But I came from kind of a poor family, and we can't afford stuff like violins and violin lessons, but I thought it probably wasn't a good idea, but I mentioned it to my mom anyway, and she kind of went with the idea. She thought it was a fine idea. So we found a fiddle, and she made me pay for half of it. She agreed to pay for half of it as long as I promised to pay her back for her half if I ever quit lessons. So that's an easy bet. I just won't ever quit. Right? Don't tell her, but I actually did quit a few years ago. I went on to play fiddle in a square dance, and actually, when I first started playing violin, it was in a violin class, and the teacher did not work out. I was a very proactive student, very excited about learning, and she taught us one song in 3 months, and that's fine, but I wanted to go ahead and learn a bunch of other songs, and I did. I went ahead in the book, and I figured out, okay, these are the notes, and that's the notes, and I listened to the music, and I figured out these 3 songs, and I came to class and played them. I was so proud of myself, and the teacher got so mad at me. What kind of teacher gets mad at a student for being proactive, right? So I know I was probably using horrible technique, and her reasoning was these songs, each song that you learn has to have particular techniques. But I don't think that teacher was quite right for me. But fortunately, I had a really weird sister with really weird hippie friends who I learned to love. I really appreciate that they made my sister come to the square dance. And I got drug along to the square dance with my sister, and that's where I saw the live band. They had a live fiddle band. They were playing fiddles and guitars and mandolins and basses. I'd never seen stuff like that before. Even in my clogging, we were exposed to like we mostly just used canned music, and it was like pop music and country music with a lot of electric instruments. We didn't get to use like these acoustic instruments. So this is the first time I've seen like these fiddles and guitars, and well, I knew my violin teacher wasn't working out, so I met the fiddle players there, and they would become my fiddle teachers and mentors, and they kind of took me in and showed me the ropes, and well, now I'm a fiddle player. It all just kind of worked out. His name is Jim Wood. So here's one of the songs we did. I grew up playing at the square dance. See that gal of mine, won't you come and go with me? Follow me, my pretty little miss, I'm going across the sea. I'm going across from downtown to stay forevermore. Left my little darling standing at the door. Going across the ocean, come with me and go. Leave this world of sorrow and troubles here below. Wish I had a needle as fine as I can sew. I'd sew that girl into my coat and down the road I'd go. Wish I had a nickel, I wish I had a dime. Wish I'd moved to Tennessee and change your name to mine. Ships are on the ocean, the waves are rolling high. Come along and go with me, I'll love you till I die. Hair as black as ravens, your eyes as black as coal. Won't you say you'll marry me before I get too old? Well, thank you guys so much. I'm going to switch fiddles here. Oh, and I'm going to explain why I'm switching fiddles here in a second. So the next problem is, how do we go from playing fiddle and dancing to playing fiddle and dancing at the same time? Like, how did I end up putting these two things together? So there's two parts of the story. So I first put them together when I was in my early college days. I was teaching a dance class, and well, we started off with these very simple dance steps. We had to go slow. But we need music to dance to, just slow music. Well, where do you find slow music? Nobody makes music that slow. Well, I can play music that slow. But my students needed the dance demonstrated while we were listening to the music. They couldn't just fit the steps with my music. Okay. Oh, hey, just like that, I'm learning how to fiddle and dance. So I'm teaching this dance class, and out of necessity I just needed the slow music, I ended up having to play my fiddle and dance at the same time. So we got a little faster with our dance steps. And then we got a little bit more sophisticated with our dance steps. We did some more advanced steps. And just like that, I learned how to dance and play at the same time. So fast forward a few years, I never actually performed the dancing and playing at the same time. It was just a cool trick that I know how to do. It wasn't until years later that I actually decided to start doing the fiddling and dancing as a performance. I was still a poor college kid. I was a starving college kid, didn't have much. I went to downtown Nashville. This is my first trip downtown, and I went to go compete in a fiddle contest. So I had my fiddle with me, and I pulled into the parking garage and pulled the ticket, and I get parked, and I realize I'm not leaving this place unless I get $20. I don't think I had $20 with me, so I knew busking was a thing. I knew people do street performing, and I had my fiddle with me. So after the contest, which I did end up making a little bit of money in the contest. I won like 4th place or 5th place or something, but you know that you get a check, so that's not going to help me get out of the parking garage. I need to get out of this parking garage. I went over to, brought my fiddle, went over to Broadway, and I started playing. Nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody watched. Everybody's just like walking by, just ignoring me. And it was very frustrating and embarrassing. I was so embarrassed. But I persevered, and I thought, hey, well, let me try this one other weird thing that I learned how to do. I had my cowboy boots with me, so I started tapping my feet a little bit. And suddenly, everybody's like stopping and watching and pulling out their cameras and like taking pictures and videos. And I actually made a few dollars. This one guy actually gave me a $20 bill. So yeah, I was pretty excited about that. I got out of the parking garage that day for sure, and I was really awesome. I met some other street performers who that's their thing. They're street performers. They're professional street performers, and that's what they do. Well, they really liked what I was doing, and they thought it was really cool. They invited me back. They said, hey, you come back, get your spot and get set up, bring a little amplifier. And I ended up bringing a dance board. So I came back, brought a dance board, a little amplifier, and, I've been dancing and playing fiddle on the street ever since. And it's so cool. This street performing has actually been the way in which I've developed my style. So as a street performer, I have to be as loud as possible, and as my show has to be as energetic as possible, if that makes sense. As opposed to like a normal concert, you would have the dynamic of like something fast and something slow and something like really energetic, and then something like really soulful and maybe a slower tempo. Whereas on the street, like everything's just got to be so intense all the time. So I ended up developing a style that's very energetic and very intense. And I ended up figuring out this dance, developing this dance that's it's very rhythmic, and I've had to just keep a good rhythm as a foundation for my fiddle playing. My fiddle playing has I've started to play 2 strings at once and very rhythmically in order to, just keep as full a sound as possible, because out on the street, I'm a one-man band. I've got to, try to fill up as much noise as possible and try to keep that rhythm going. So, as my style evolved, this is all trial and error. That's the beauty of performing on the street, is you get to see what works and what doesn't work, like right there, live, in person. You can try something, and you can just see people's reactions as they're walking by. If they ignore you, or if they stop and watch, if they really get into it, if you make a few dollars, maybe that was something good. If they ignore you, you don't make any money, maybe that wasn't the best song. So it's a really great place to try out some new material to see if it works, and also practice performing. So over the course of like 2.5 years, I've actually gotten really good at dancing and playing fiddle at the same time. So it's been a great place for me to learn. And so this fiddle style that I developed is cross-tuning. So I figured out, for those of you who don't know anything about music, I figured out if I tune my fiddle different from standard. So there's a standard classical way that, classical, jazz, pop, rock, everybody, there's a standard way to tune your instrument. So I'm taking my instrument and tuning it so that it's like an open chord. So say you have like a guitar, you make a chord and you strum it. So say that chord, that's my fiddle right now. It's that chord. So wherever I'm playing the melody, there's a string next to it that I can play along with the melody. So I can play two strings at once, so that gives it more sound. So my whole style is kind of evolved around doing this cross tuning. And there's different tunings for different songs and for different keys and to get different sounds. It's really cool, and that's kind of why I bring along a couple of different fiddles so that I can do the different tunings and play different songs without having to retune on stage. So you can see I have some different tunings with me, some different fiddles. This isn't just to show off my fiddle collection. But anyway, before we get into too much into the cross tuning thing, we'll go into that more later. I want to play you guys one more song. Yes, I do get out of breath sometimes. It's really hard if I'm trying to sing and I get out of breath. Okay. Well, this next segment here, I'm going to talk more about the cross tuning, but I'm going to talk about my CD, actually. So I have a CD that I came out with last year, and the whole concept for it is cross tuning. So as I'm kind of developing my own style and I'm kind of exploring this whole cross tuning thing, you know, I needed to come out with my first album. And so I kind of used this cross tuning as the whole concept. I explored different tunings. I took, you know, it's so cool. In the fiddling tradition, the cross tuning is actually a very, very traditional thing to do. It's very old time. And some of the first fiddle recordings, actually, Ike Robertson playing Sally Gooden, that is cross-tuned. For all you fiddle geeks out there, for all you non-fiddle geeks, for all you people who maybe don't understand what I'm talking about with the cross-tuning, you don't have to understand this weird thing I'm doing with my fiddle to be able to appreciate my music. That's the beauty of my CD. It's very listenable and very enjoyable. But if you're into the whole tuning thing, it's really cool. Actually, my CD, if you get the physical copy, you get the liner notes. And I should post the liner notes on my website, honestly. I've been meaning to. It actually lists the different tunings that I use. So in 17 tracks, I used 13 different tunings. So I listed the different tunings. A lot of them are traditional, or a lot of them are like the traditional tunings but moved like up a whole step or down a whole step. And some of these tunings I actually invented. They've never been used before. And it's really cool. It's a really cool sound, but I don't recommend using those tunings because there's a reason why nobody's ever used them. It's because you can't really play more than like 1 or 2 songs. It's just very impractical. But I'm very excited about the project. I actually took, you know, songs that are played in standard, not cross-tune. I actually took them and put them in a cross-tuning, and it just gave the whole song a whole new life, a whole new voice that you would never hear before. So if you have not, backing up, if you don't understand the cross-tuning, one thing that people have said, not knowing anything about music, they say, okay, your CD sounds like, you know, it has 2 fiddle tracks or 3 fiddle tracks. That's kind of what cross-tuning does. It kind of makes it where it sounds like there's more than one fiddle going on at a time. So it's really cool. It's all just one fiddle, and these fiddles actually have different sounds that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get, you know, out of a standard tuned fiddle. So I'm gonna demonstrate. Here's a song actually I'm gonna play for you guys. Is actually on my previous record, as my previous record is all fiddle and guitar. It's just instrumental. So if you don't like my voice, don't hesitate to get my CD. You don't have to listen to my voice. It's all instrumental. But my next CD is going to have 8 vocals, and that's where you're going to hear me sing this song, this next song. Kanai do, I say. So that song will be on my next album, which actually I'm working on another record right now. It will be out hopefully in July 1st is the date that we're shooting for. So yeah, it's going to be a really cool project, my next album, and 8 vocals. Oh, well, they're kind of fiddle tunes and vocals. I'll do a little bit of dancing, and it'll be like a full string band. And I'm also going to do a really cool artsy thing with my original tunes. So I'm going to take some of these like original fiddle tunes that I've written. I went back through all my fiddle tunes, and I found like 7 that were kind of cool. And I'm taking them and I'm arranging them for string quartet plus guitar. I'm not decided about that. So I'm taking string quartet, and I'm going to take this melody, and that's going to be the first violin, and string quartet is 2 violins, viola, and cello. So then I'm going to arrange kind of a classical-ish arrangement of these fiddle tunes. So it'll be a cool clash of like kind of more classical sounds and kind of more fiddle sounds, and it's going to be cool. Especially might include guitar on them, or maybe not, but it'll be a cool project. I'm very excited about it. It's very, very artsy, not your typical thing, but when did I ever do anything typical? Yeah, so. Anyway, so you can look for that. My record from my first record is out right now. It's on my website. It's available at hillaryklug.com, and it's available digitally from every single digital platform. I can only think of like Amazon, and well, you can listen to it on Spotify, iTunes. There's other digital platforms out there. Just go look for my music, and you can listen. Yeah, so this next record, just stay on the lookout for it. I'm going to play another song from my previous record. So check this out. I actually, in order to play this song, I had to change out the strings because it uses such a weird tuning. I needed a viola string. It actually almost sounds like a cello. That is not a standard fiddle string. So I'm very proud of like being able to give this instrument another voice that you would never hear. So this song, this is a medley of the first song and the last song on my my debut album. thank you so much. Well, I reckon I did that a little backwards. I should have done the old album song first and the next album song last. Well, anyway, so this next section of the show, I just want to thank you guys again for coming and hanging out, and thank you guys again for having me on the 615 Hideaway show. I'm super excited to be here, and I'm going to talk about my social media. So this past year, I went from having like 1,000 followers to having like 600,000 followers. Oh my goodness, guys, you guys are so amazing. I just want to thank you guys so much for supporting what I do and for being like really interested. And I'm really proud to have this fiddle music, this traditional fiddle, and this traditional dance, and to be able to share it with so many people. It's so amazing. This many people would otherwise, all these people would otherwise never have the opportunity to hear old-time fiddle music, cross-tuning. All these people would otherwise not have the opportunity to see buck dancing. So I'm really super excited that I've been able to put them together in a way that, they've been able to, they've gotten, my stuff has just gotten shared all around the world. I actually have a fan club. I just discovered I have a fan club in Peru. So I'm just super honored and thrilled and excited, and thank you guys so much. So with the social media, my social media first, kind of exploded because, I had a few viral videos. So first, it's so funny. It's so funny. I started working with a manager last year, like around the middle of summer. And, the first thing he told me to do was sing. So that's a new thing. This singing thing is very new, and I know it started out, it's not any good, but like in any instrument, it doesn't start the best. When I first started playing fiddle, it probably sounded like a dying animal, but as you take lessons and you practice, of course my fiddle playing has gotten better, and my vocals have come along. I've worked with several amazing teachers, and I've been practicing, and it's coming along so that I can actually, I'm going to be working on actually singing on an album. So as a disclaimer, I know I'm not a professional singer, but I'm trying, and I'm practicing every day, and I'm working hard at it. And anyway, so with my manager telling me to sing, because fiddling and dancing isn't enough, one thing he needed from me was he needed a video. So he was looking at trying to get me to play somewhere. So he needed people to see what I did. I didn't have a CD at that point. So he wanted to show them a video. Well, he needs a video. So I made a little video with my iPhone on my back porch, and I gave it to him, and no, that's not good enough. We can't use this. So, I just made a video for nothing. So I put my video on Facebook. Well, my video went viral, so is that good enough for my manager? No. No, but it was amazing. They had this little video, so it was done with an iPhone, and it was a homespun video, just me with my fiddle and my dance board, and and you can't even really see me because it's so dark. You can just see the background behind me, so it created a silhouette effect. So, like, all of me is black, and then you can just see the background. It went viral with like 10 million views, and then after that one went viral, I tried to do another video, and pretty soon I actually had 4 or 5 videos that went viral, maybe 6, I don't know. I know I have, but the biggest one that went viral was actually one of my original songs, and I'll play that for you right now. So it got 60 million views. And I'm super excited because this is like old-time fiddle music. 60 million people have heard my original old-time tune. 60 million people who otherwise would never hear old-time fiddle music, who otherwise would never see buck dancing. So I'm very proud to share this with you guys. Here's my original tune, Alley Cat, and I named it after my niece, Allie. I just lost my phone thing. Wait, hang on, I can find it. Sorry, guys. Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to fix this a little bit better. Okay, so, super excited about my videos that went viral. Some really cool things. I've had some really cool things happen just recently. It's so amazing. I actually went from being, just a street performer to actually, over the past year, my career is actually starting to unfold and evolve, and I'm in the middle of this transition to actually being more of a solo artist. I actually have a career in fiddling and dancing, and it's so funny. This is all just this one big accident, because I didn't grow up thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a dancing fiddler. I didn't that's not what I dreamed of when I was a little girl, but it's just all kind of evolved and unfolded, and it's so fun. It's so amazing, all these opportunities that are starting to unfold. So just over the past year, and just as a part of this whole transition into being a solo artist, I earlier this year, I was going to the UK to attend an Americana conference. I was going to go to a Celtic conference, just kind of meet people, shake hands, meet talent buyers, festival bookers, and just kind of get my CD out there and meet people. And I booked a little concert, booked a little gig while I was over there. Thought I'd help pay for the trip. And this amazing thing happened. I posted a little event on my Facebook, and the event sold out instantly. I have all these fans over in the UK who bought up my tickets, not just the UK. It was funny, I had people come from all over the UK, Manchester, Newcastle. They were driving or using public transportation, going 2 and 3 hours away. I actually had a couple from Austria who came to my concert, so it was amazing. I got back to the United States, and something else amazing happened. I had this gig in downtown Nashville, and I found out a couple days before the gig, oh, hey, the governor's going to be there. So it was so funny. I got to meet the governor of Tennessee, and at my gig, I got a picture with him, shook his hand. That was so amazing. And a guy named Alexei Agudisman, and he's a composer and a solo violinist from Austria. He contacted me, and he wanted me to perform. He was coming to the Nashville Symphony to perform with the symphony, and he had this duo show with a guy named Yankee Jew, and they call it the Agudisman and Jew. And they had this show, and they invited me to come play, and I ended up playing with them, and it wasn't just some small thing where I just hopped up on stage and played their music. They featured me. They had me do a song with them where they did a thing where they had the whole orchestra dancing and playing violin at the same time. It was so amazing. I got to dance and play violin with the Nashville Symphony, and then they had me doing my solo stuff, my original stuff, and then the two of them accompanied me on one of my songs that I'm about to do, and it was just this amazing experience. And these guys have invited me to come back and perform at with them in Austria and Italy later on this spring. So this spring I'm going to get to go to Austria and Italy to perform with Agudisman and Jew. But even cooler than that, Alexei Agudisman, he's invited me to perform with him, different chamber ensembles, orchestras in Austria and Switzerland. And he's taken my original piece and he's arranged it for a orchestra to play. So a chamber ensemble to play. So they're going to be accompanying me on my original song that Alexei Agudisman arranged. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's so amazing. And along with that, later on this summer, I get to go play at Dollywood. And I'm going to spend my summer at least a month in Europe. I have several festivals and workshops in the UK and Finland. in England and Wales and then Finland. So that'll just going to be fun. This whole it's just amazing how this is all unfolding. I have a couple of really cool projects in the works. Oh, hey, I have a couple of endorsements now. I actually, if it's okay for me to mention, Crutch Violins, Crutch Strings, is sending me a fiddle. I can't wait to get it in the mail. And whenever I'm in Austria, I'm going to go buy Tomastic Infeld strings and pick out some strings for my fiddle. So I'm very excited about that. I know I like some of their strings. I just haven't tried very many of their strings, so I can't wait to go try some out. Anyway, and then I also have this CD in the works. I'm going to work on a few books. I actually want to publish like some sheet music so that people who want to play this music that I'm playing, so they can learn how to play like what I'm playing. Oh, hey, if we have any questions, if you guys have any questions, if you can somehow send the questions in the comment, I think if you comment on the video a question, I can maybe answer the question right now. It's so funny. One time I was doing a concert. I just recently did a concert. I went on a little tour through Florida. That was amazing. My first ever tour through Alabama and Florida. And one of my concerts, somebody asked me, while I was on stage, they asked me, what's the name of your, what are the names of your fiddles? And I was not prepared with an answer. And I'm still not prepared with an answer, but I'm still working on, I gotta figure out what gender they are first, because I don't want to name it Bob, and then it's like, oh wait, Bob could go girl or boy. I don't want to name it like, I don't know, Alfred, and then it's actually a girl. That would not be a very nice girl name.
Question. What kind of pickup do you use on your violin?
Oh, great question. On my fiddle, of course, as a very dynamic performer, I have to be untethered with wires and cables. So I use a Bartlett microphone, and right now I'm using a Shure wireless transmitter and receiver. I've got two transmitters and receivers, one for my vocal and one for my fiddle. But this Bartlett fiddle mic just plugs right into the transmitter and receiver, and it's really nice. How fast can I play Alley Cat? Well, let's see. I gotta change fiddles though. I know I can dance fast.
When are you going to Europe?
When am I going to Europe? Great question. I'm going March 24th. I leave for Europe. Oh, one other cool thing I'm doing in Europe. Oh, there's so many cool things. I can't even think of all of them. I get to play with this really cool traditional Austrian band. I listen to their music. It's so cool. It's like pirate carnival music. And I get to play with them and do a few concerts. I'm going to get in on their concerts. And they're going to play some of my music. I'll play some of their music. We're going to do a video together. So stay tuned to see our little collaboration video. This is going to be super cool. And I'm going to record it with them. We're still working on how fast can I play Alley Cat. And I just want to thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for listening and watching. And thank you guys for having me here at the 615 Hideaway.